Peter, a 42-17 defeat to Bristol Rugby this evening. What are your reflections after that?
Well, I think the score doesn't necessarily reflect our performance. Pretty good in patches. The reality was, having changed a few bodies around from last week's game against Bedford, we couldn't live with their physicality in the forward pack, and I can't recount off the top of my head, but I know a number of the points came from penalty tries, driving lineouts and scrums, so that wasn't ideal. But actually the performance on the whole was outstanding, and in parts we just said there in the huddle, better than against Bedford last week where we won with a bonus point. So, you know, as coaches, we're definitely striving for performances rather than results, although of course results are important. But I think from a defensive point of view, it was a really super performance, because probably not going to play against a better attacking team than Bristol, and for large parts of that game we stood toe to toe and dominated them, came up with many turnovers in defence and put in a really good performance. It didn't help, of course, we lost two of our backs within 5 minutes, and when you've only got two backs on the bench, that obviously leaves you with very little options, and we finished the game with, you know, a flanker in midfield, a scrum half on the wing and a winger at fullback, so a total makeshift back line, and almost came away with a bonus point. So hey, look, I'm pretty pleased. Pretty pleased with the performance. It's just a shame to come away empty-handed.
Miles Montella, from his day job as a winger, he was deployed in midfield, and he did pretty well there, didn't he?
He did, yeah. There's another change that we had to make. Miles coming into the centre, and he's certainly not one that trains. Yet sort of someone like Mike Donegan, who went off injured, can play at centre and wing. Miles is an out-and-out winger, so to fill in at centre the way he did, I thought was outstanding. You know, sort of pitching around and putting an effort in. Did well and came up with a try, I think, for his efforts as well. And even though we were under the cosh for large parts of that first half, we still managed to score a couple of quality tries. And Matt Heeks, who on his debut this evening ended up on the wing, went over for a try in the second half as well. So really pleased for him. As I say, just probably one more try would have gone home with a bonus point. That would have been probably a decent scenario when you're staring down the barrel of 35-12 at half time. Of course, went away from home, probably the results out of your grasp at that stage, but we were looking for a bonus point, and probably just a bit disappointed we didn't get it.
Second half, the boys stuck in manfully. You know, they showed real courage and bravery to keep out Bristol for long spells. They'll need that character to maintain their pursuit of a top four finish this season. Well,
this is what we said. You know, if we play like that with that intensity against a lot of other teams in this league, I have no doubt that we'll come out on top. You know, Bristol are a quality team. You look at their starting lineup, you've got British Lions in there, international players. They've got some undoubted quality, and that showed in the set piece. I think Matthew Morgan at fly half is a tremendous player and showed some lovely touches again this evening. They've got quality, you know, on their bench. They've got quality sitting in the stands. They've got a lot of strength in depth, this team. So, and for large parts we pushed them. You know, I said there was a bit of a mismatch perhaps in our driving play, and they definitely made the most of that. And that's probably a hard pill for us to swallow, having probably dominated the three teams previous to this in those areas. So there's definitely some work to do heading towards Plymouth next week.
How hard was it for you to juggle the backs this evening? At the end, it was Miles then went to fullback, Chevy came into midfield, Matt Heeks was out in the wing. That must be tough for you, Pete.
Well, it really was, but it got to the stage where we were just asking for helpful suggestions off the bench, because hey, who do you play where? You know, we had who do you play in the backs? Chevy, Pennycook, Neil Best. You know, take your pick. But we ended up with Chevy there.
Maybe we should have registered you to play.
Well, couldn't afford the match fee, and if I was, no, it was a mismatch, and I think the boys stood up manfully to that test. But it did mean that our attacking threat as a backline was probably nullified as soon as that happened, and probably looking forward, the two chaps that went off probably aren't going to be fit for next week either, so that's a bit of a blow.
Just looking forward to Plymouth next weekend, how important is it to bounce back, you know, and get back in the winning trail?
Well, absolutely. It's the last game, league game for about 4 weeks, so we definitely want to finish on a high. We're playing at home, where we've been unbeaten in the league, of course, this season so far. So definitely want to get back to winning ways, because the last game sits in your memory for 4 weeks until you come back to the league. I think we play Moseley then in October. So very important that we maintain our 100% record at home. hope to rest up a few bodies tonight. We managed to do that to a certain extent. Jamie Stevenson, who was meant to have a small part, ended up playing 75 minutes, but hopefully came out injury-free. So we should have a full deck to select from next week and look to take Plymouth on.
Hard lines today.
Thank you.